What happens when you have Mars in the 5th house in your horoscope? Well, what is Mars? It's our energy, where our most enthusiasm goes into, where we are driven, where we get excited and enthusiastic. And the 5th house is actually a great house to have Mars in. The energies go well hand in hand together, because 5th house is all about having fun, expressing your individuality, expressing yourself creatively, romance, passion, adventure, and Mars does great there. You know, that's one of the best houses for Mars to be, actually, astrologically speaking, because Mars feels at home there. Mars wants to be expansive, to go out, to dare, to take risks, to take actions, and those activities of the 5th house, which are amusements, fun, entertainment, we basically, if you have Mars in the 5th house, you tend to pursue them very actively. So such people often come across as almost daredevils, you know, or they can come across as with this mentality: work hard, play hard, live to the fullest, you know, give it all out. They don't spare their energy, because the 5th house is the house of the sun, where it shines, where your childlike creativity is expressed through, where your childlike creative intelligence and passion for life is expressed, and Mars intensifies that with its fiery energy. So such people can come across almost sometimes even as adrenaline junkies as well. They love to take risks very often, unless Saturn aspects Mars and tones that down. Say Saturn in the 11th house aspects Mars, so Saturn is also in your 5th house, or there is some kind of make square to your Mars to really kind of bottle it up. But usually they will be impulsive, they'll have impulsive nature. How do you express yourself energetically? Impulsively. How do you express yourself as an individual, which is the 5th house? In a Mars way. You go after things, you get excited, you take leadership. They're very natural leaders, those people. Actually, 5th house in astrology rules any center stage positions in which you perform, in which you take leading role, because the 5th house is the house of the sun. The sun is the brightest star. It's the brightest object in our sky, so it shines, you know. So the house of the sun is naturally associated with the 5th house of self-expression. When Mars is there, these people naturally are driven towards and feel impassioned and excited about roles, center stage roles. So often you can see this in people who are in some kind of performances, in some kind of a creative or artistic creative performance activities. In many actors, in many musicians, Mars is in the 5th house, especially such which can put prolonged energy on performance on stage, or even traveling artists that are going on tours very often, and they get excited when they're on stage, and they get enlivened when they're on stage. You know, like people like John Bon Jovi, people like, I have a lot of performers here, you know, Pavarotti, John Bon Jovi, I just took a few quickly that I could get: Enrique Iglesias, Lenny Kravitz, Liberace, Jim Morrison. All those performers, when they go on stage, you know, they're flamboyant, they take the stage over, they can put lots of energy and passion and enthusiasm into stage performances, which is the 5th house, being in the center. Being 5th house is creativity, being creative, being in the center stage performances. Mars gives so much energy into that, you know, Liberace, you know, Jim Morrison, John Bon Jovi, all those people. So they can tour extensively, they can be in center stage positions, so it's great for such people. Also, 5th house rules any other center stage positions. Politics. It's funny that both artists and actors and politics are ruled by the same house, the 5th house. It's kind of like politicians are actually actors, but it's always been like that since time immemorial. In Vedic astrology and ancient astrology, 5th house rules politics, center stage activities, where you are like a king, where you perform. Public speakers, it's a great position where you have to give dynamic performance, because Mars is such a dynamic, such an not entertaining planet, but puts energy. So it's great for any kind of dynamic performance that requires lots of energy, lots of passion that you put. And people that are public speakers with Mars can be really excitable out there in the public eye, center stage, giving vigorous speeches. Lecturers, for example, they can be very entertaining lecturers. I've seen also people that work with children, fifth house rules children. They put lots of energy, and they usually quite love children because they would put lots of in their performance, because it's fifth house. You're on the stage when you're a teacher as well, you know, having their Mars putting a lot of energy and passion into their work as well. Actors, theater actors being on the stage, again, fifth house. You know, I have lots of actors here: James Dean, Pamela Anderson, I have Mel Gibson, I have David Hasselhoff. And you look at like Pamela Anderson and David Hasselhoff from they were both like especially connected to performances that are physical, you know, which is Mars, is sexual, physical, and fifth house is performances, and they kind of their performances connected to virility, to sexuality. Mel Gibson as well, he's always the, you know, this strong sexual male figure as well. James Dean as well. Jack Nicholson as well has Mars in the fifth house. So their roles always come when they center stage. They're vigorous, they're sexualized, they're sexy, you know. Pavarotti, Rod Stewart, I kind of said John Bon Jovi. These were the performing artists, and the others are Cary Grant, another actor. And as I said, lots of politicians: Jimmy Carter, Eisenhower, Charles de Gaulle, all kind of people that are center stage activities through politics. And as I said, they're natural leaders, those people with Mars in the fifth house, because their enthusiasm is ruled by Mars, and their leadership abilities is infections. They put it out there on stage, they don't hide it. Again, unless their Mars is kind of blocked by a difficult planet, they can have problems expressing this passion they have within themselves. And when they're excited about something, they put it out there on the stage, and the enthusiasm is infectious, and others follow them. Even if you're not a politician, an actor, or musician, or touring musician, if you have Mars in the fifth house, people would follow you. People they'll get infectious when you're excited about something. You might be like the heart of the company. You might be larger than life, always inventing new games, parties, or putting lots of energy in organizing parties and entertainment, which is the fifth house. Any kind of amusements. Fifth house is the best house, basically one of the best houses in astrology, because it rules everything we really enjoy and are passionate about: parties, having fun, entertaining ourselves, our hobbies, anything that excites us. And with Mars there, a person puts lots of energy into that. They can be a great, for example, if you're feeling down, find a person with Mars in the fifth house to bring you up, to take you out, to paint the red town, paint the town red, as they say, together. To, if you want your party to get going and it's kind of all boring, find a person with Mars in the fifth house. They'll be usually the ones starting the party, starting with the performance, center stage, entertaining others, and also gives lots of physical energy, this position, especially if Mars is in fire sign. So, you know, because it's even more energized then. But that's why it makes people very competitive on center stage positions, to be number one, to be first. That's why many athletes also have Mars in the fifth house. And even if you're not a professional athlete, maybe you are very much into sports when you were at school. And usually they tend to be very outdoorsy people that want to be out and about, that want to move, that want to express this Mars, because Mars is our energy. If Mars is in the fourth house, in more hidden houses, second, eighth, we don't necessarily, salespeople need to be able to excite others about what they want, to perform it almost on the stage, to get others to follow them, which Mars in the fifth house are great for. So let's see, if you happen to have Mars in the fifth house, or someone that you love, and they want to know what to do, what they can be great at, because wherever Mars is, we can put lots of energy without getting exhausted or starting over and over and over again, getting excited about it. And it's so important basically to work something, to do something that you're passionate about, that you're excited about, especially for Mars in the 5th house. So what? You can tell them they can be great in politics, in performances, in artistic creativity, in literary pursuits as well, in athletics, in sales as well, in center stage, lecturers, teachers that again take center stage and others are observing them and they in the center stage performing in some way. Public speaker, anything that requires dynamic, energetic performance. And also gamblers is very often seen in gamblers who take risks, because 5th house is games and fun and speculative investments, anything which is almost a little bit like a game of chance and speculating. And Mars there gives you the courage, because Mars is a courageous planet, to take risks in such things, And whether they win or no, well, with Mars there, usually those people can, they take risks, and sometimes they pay big time, sometimes they lose big time, because Mars is this impulsive planet, so it can, give or take. But often when you take considerable risks, sooner or later it's gonna pay off. So such kind of careers can be quite good for them. And as I already said, let me just checking, literally creativity, because 5th house is our creative output. So these people can literally put so much energy into some creative hobby, into some passion, for example, or into pursuing they can be very prolific creatively as well, because you can put energy there. J.K. Rowling has Mars in the 5th house. She's prolific. She keeps writing books, and putting so much energy into her creativity, and even producing the movies now. Also, we have Isaac. I'm not sure if I pronounce it correctly, that name, but Isaac Asimov, he's made more than 500 books, in one lifetime. Sci-fi writer, again, it's creative, put a lot of energy, untiringly, which is Mars, enthusiastic about creative output there. And he created so many, books. And also we have the Jane Austen. She was very prolific. She wrote a lot as well. Let me see. I have quite a few people that I've written here. We have people that are great at performing in stage as well. Tony Robbins has that, and he can make you excited to follow them. I don't know if you've ever seen a video of Tony Robbins. He has Mars in the 5th house, but when he's on stage, he's on fire. And these are not shy people. The only way they can be shy if something is blocking this Mars in some way, or there is they have Sun or Moon with Saturn or something that makes them that compensates or that detracts from the center stage ability. But they can excite you to follow them. Great leaders, you follow their lead. This is a position that makes politicians, leaders, actors, performance, and all those things. And they just feel in their water, in the element when they're on stage. Look at Lenny Kravitz, and let's see what else we have here.